Hi guys, welcome to my channel. If you're here, you have nothing better to watch, and you really need to step outside. Do you hate it when someone is playing a hard game as a champ that's seen as hard, and they make it their entire personality? Yeah, I hate it when that happens. I hate those guys. Is anyone looking? Why is everyone looking at me? Hi, I play Irelia. Do you want to have suicidal thoughts while playing a game? Constantly downplay your champs so when you win, it's skill, but when you lose, it's a character diff? Do you want to go 119 and still be able to 1v1 a Fed ADC because your champ is so damn balanced? So, her abilities. Her passive is called Ionian Forever and gives her a stack each time she damages an enemy. One per enemy hit, so one stack there, two stacks there, and then, well, there's max stacks. Each stack gives her bonus attack speed, and at max stack she gets bonus magical damage on every attack. This allows Irelia to outplay her opponents by just straight up slowly attacking them to death, and because you go Conquer, Lethal Tempo, and, you know, PT and all that things, yeah, you can. She's a very good lane bully, although literally everybody that just has a bit more AD than her can already 1v1 her better, which is why she's, I think, better in the mid lane actually. Her Q is called Blade Surge. It's a point and click dash that has pretty good range, that also deals AD damage on anywhere where she dashes to. It's also going to reset if the enemy is marked by her E or ult, and also if the enemy dies, for example minion, jungle monster, or even an enemy champion, it will reset the cooldown completely. Also, one thing that you need to know is that every time she dashes, it heals her for a little bit. As you can see there, that's a pretty good amount of healing. Now, this is actually with Blade of the Ruined King and, you know, like level 9 and after, you can one-shot the caster minions, allowing you not only to engage on your enemies insanely quick, but also this gives you insane sustain after having either Vampiric Scepter or Blade of the Ruined King. Also, it applies on hit effects. Did I mention that? And deals bonus damage to minions, so free CS. Which is why Irelia is just so good at CSing, and you almost never really find a low CS Irelia, unless, you know, she's bad. But, not us, right? Her W is called, I don't give a what the it's called. She charges up an attack for around 1.5 seconds. The more she charges up, the more damage it deals. But around halfway, she reaches full health. So as you can see here, okay, as soon as she sparks like this, it's already reached full damage. So you don't need to charge it a full way. It's a common misconception about Irelia. Also, while you're charging it up, actually, you have a very big damage reduction towards physical damage and a smaller one to magic damage. So yeah, the turret deals a lot of damage and then boom, W. Also, this is a straight line skill shot, so you will have to aim it, but it has a very big AoE radius, and also it's actually around her. Now in the early game, before you have Blade of the Ruined King, you can actually use this to get minions low so that you can, well, dash to them, which allows you for good wave clear and maybe even minion gliding if you are good enough with her. Her E is called, I don't know what the heck it's called. Basically, you throw down one blade, does absolutely nothing, literally, and after 3.5 seconds you can set out a second blade. Those two blades fly towards each other and deal damage, stun, and mark the enemy. Marked enemies have a reset on your Q, so does your ult, but we'll get that in a second. This also is one of, if not the only, real, like, CC tools that it really has, or hard CC tool. This is very crucial to hit in your laning phase, so I'm gonna show you a few tricks you can do. First of all, in a bush, or just straight up out of sight, you can set down the first E, and the second E is not really that reactable to at all. The most important thing to all of Irelia's laning phase is her QE thing. Basically, to elaborate, use just straight up, okay, let's say there's an enemy here. Basically, you can just Q onto an enemy, and you do QE, not EQ. EQ is not really that good. See, it's very reactable. You go EQ, I mean QE, and also you can do QE, QE, which is way more unreactable. And also, I find this helpful. You can do it out of sight and then QE straight up onto the enemy. Irelia's R is called Irelia's R. It's a streamlined skill shot that deals magic damage to the first enemies and then the enemies behind the first enemy hit it. It deals a lot of damage, a lot of base damage, but scales with AP. Now, I just wanted to tell you that it marks every enemy and slows them down by 90%. It leaves by this trail of blades where if enemies walk by it, they get slowed again by 90%, which makes it a very good following tool. Let's say an ADC is trying to walk all the way to that bush, but I'm not having any of it. Even if like somebody has an Ezreal E or Kaisa E or anything, they'll still get slowed most likely because they underestimate the range and the slow of Irelia's R. It also marks them for your Q, which allows you to get in the backline in a team fight, and you can use it as a flash R because it does have a very noticeable cast time. But there's this flash R, and then the laggy flash R. All of them are for separate cases. This is just for like even like if you really need that bit of burst. Also, this happened just accidentally maybe, because it does get sent out of Irelia's location before she Rs or before she flashes, but still makes the flash connect. You can maybe do like this if you accidentally missed it or purposefully missed it, because some people do that. Or instead of wanting this for whatever reason, maybe there's an enemy here, you can do this, so that hits everybody. For items, you want to go Doran's Blade most likely, unless against a ranged matchup that you can't really win, you can go Doran's Shield. Always, always, always go Blade of the Ruined King, guys. People tell you it's 90% of the time, it's 100% of the time. There's no matchup, unless you're going AP, but I don't really recommend that either, where you don't want to go Blade of the Ruined King. It's just non-existent. The damage allows you to reset your Q instantly on a caster minion. The slow, it makes kiting easier, and it just gives you damage, and it has a lifesteal, and it has perfect stats for Irelia. Just saying. Now, second item gets a lot more confusing. First of all, Tabi's Merc Treads. Merc Treads, obviously against AP, Tabi's against AD. Merc Treads can also be used if you're using Jack of all traits and you're not planning on going Wit's End, but you are building the Death Stance, which allows you to basically, you know, get both both resistances. Now, if you're behind, go Kraken Slayer. If they have AP on the enemy team, go Wit's End. If they have AD, go Death Stance. As a last item, you can go Guardian Angel. You go Thunder Sky if you feel like it. And Trinity if the enemy has a ton of squishies and you just need the burst damage. You also go Hellbreaker if you're ahead, and this is the most popular one in the new split because Irelia shreds through towers. She just does with her passive especially. For combos, you have your maximum burst combo, which is ERE, Q, out attack, Q, out attack, Q. Look like this. Now, you should be able to do it faster. Like that, like that. Now, tips and tricks. First of all, I wanted to talk about the W flash, as though this caught a lot of people off guard. Now, let's say there's a minion wave around here, and you're just acting like you're gonna W the wave. Well, boom. Oh. Boom. Okay, this is kind of embarrassing, guys, but you know, we all do mistakes. Bruh. Bro, can I really not? Yay! We did it! Now, this is only for low health enemies. You're not gonna really start a fight with your W because it, like, just straight up deals damage. But it has a very hefty range, and also, I feel like Mundo players fall for it the most because they just are very, very, very... What is the name? What is the word? Oh, yeah, bad. For your runes, as your primary rune, you almost always want Precision. You can either go PTA, Lethal Tempo, or Conquer. You go Conquer against most of the time. Against matchups that are easier for you, or that you need the extra sustain, or for those where you just have very long battles. Now you go Lethal Tempo if you're against a tank where you just out-attack each other to death, and that's your entire laning phase. this one falls off the most out of every one of them, I feel like. PTA is against ranged tops and squishy mages in the mid lane where you can just steamroll them all the time. Presence of Life, I use this, or I recommend this for skilled Irelia players that can actually minion glide mid battle, or if you need good sustain. Same with Presence of Mind, minus the good part, because Presence of Mind is brain dead, I feel like. It just gives you bonus sustain in lane, what can I tell you? Triumph, it's just an all-rounder. If you think that you're gonna steamroll your opponent, go Triumph, because it gives you basically carry and 1v9 potential. Always go Legend Alacrity. These two are just not good. What can I tell you? For matchups in the mid lane, she does not have any bad matchups, I feel like. So basically, if you look over here, look at all of these, all of them. Oh wait, yeah. Anything above Fizz, just good matchups. Really, Irelia is just so good in the early game, and in fact, if I'm not mistaken, she has the highest average gold income in all of the mid lane. These, the only one that has a higher CS, not mid lane champ at all. I recommend banning somebody like Vex or somebody that interrupts your dashes like Cassiopeia. Again, Vex, somebody like Malphite, and yeah, that's actually everyone that I can think of at the top of my head. But if you want, this is what u.gg thinks is the worst matchups for Irelia in the mid lane. Now for the top lane, it's quite the opposite actually. If you take a look at here, everything that's above 50% win rate already semi-hard counters Irelia. Now, you might get the impression from that she's not really good in top lane, but it's actually her better role, I feel like. Technically, kind of. Not really though, but also kind of yes. Now, if anybody has CC, any form, even a little bit, if anybody has health, more than 100, at level 1, if anybody has 4 abilities, if anybody buys Doran's Blade, and if anybody is a character in League of Legends and plays top lane, well, guess what? You counter Irelia most likely. But I personally recommend banning somebody like Warwick or Volibear. Set Poppy. Poppy's a really bad matchup for you, for example. Darius Trundle is unplayable, I feel like. Sorry. Okay, thank you for watching. This is my first video ever. I don't know if I'm proud of it. You tell me. Hi, Mom. How you doing? If you have any questions about Irelia or really generally about anything about me, maybe. Anyways, yeah. I love you. Subscribe, maybe. Goal is 1 subscriber at the end of the year. The year that started like 3 days ago. Bye.